former Trump policy aide Steve Miller, also Trump campaign surrogate, dear friend. Steve, look, this is not personal. I mean, I know Robert Kennedy Jr., and he's a very gracious person, not personal. But on the issues, I want to begin with this. He has a long history of being a real climate extremist, it seems to me. And I think that's a big problem. And I think under the Biden administration, I don't know whether there's much difference between the two. We've seen how this has damaged the economy, oil prices, gasoline prices, business expenses. What do you make of all that?
Well, you're right. RFK Jr. is a climate extremist, has been for many years. His climate extremism is well documented and well known. He would shut down all fossil fuels. He would abolish drilling, and he would put significant taxes on carbon emissions that would crush the economy. I think what's significant, Larry, and what you're really talking about today is this. He is indeed a serious candidate. He's a serious candidate of the left. The American voters will go to the polls, and they'll be able to choose from two liberal Democrat politicians, RFK and Biden. Some Democrat voters might like RFK's climate extremism and vote for him. And so you have two extremely liberal candidates in Biden and RFK running. By the way, it's not just climate extremism. RFK has been very extreme on the Second Amendment in favor of gun confiscation. He's been very extreme in favor of socialist economic and tax and regulatory policies. He's been very extreme, even recently, saying that he favors abortion up through the end of pregnancy in all 50 states. So again, a very, very far left position there. So on issue after issue, he staked out territory that puts him to the leftmost portion of the American electorate.
You know, I'm reading from Karl Rove's column on this. Karl's pretty tough on him. Again, this is not personal. He's a very gracious man. But Karl says Kennedy has a lot of other, quote unquote, moonbat ideas. Agribusiness is waging war on our health through the food pyramid. The 2004 election was stolen. The 2004 election was stolen. Wi-Fi and 5G cause cancer. Sirhan didn't kill RFK Sr. He also talks about reparations for black descendants or cities. He doesn't mention any specific names. So, again, these are pretty far out stuff. These are pretty far left. Actually, they're just fringe kinds of issues. Those don't really seem serious to me.
Well, another one that was not included on that list is his very, very strong sympathy for the Palestinians that support Hamas. So that's another issue where he fits in very well with the left flank of the Democrat Party. I think there's a lot of, for example, Arab voters in Michigan who don't like Biden and who will be voting for RFK. I think there's a lot of college students in places like New Hampshire who are very anti-Israel, who will be very comfortable voting for RFK. So there's a large portion of Biden's coalition that will actually be much more comfortable, whether it be on climate issues or foreign policy issues, voting for RFK. So this is squarely a problem as more and more people become familiar with his record. And so a lot of it was in Mr. Rowe's column, a lot of what we've discussed today. I think it's going to be a real scare for Democrats in November.
Yeah, I mean, the issue of reparations, you know, I've never understood how you get there. It was hundreds of years ago. Times have changed. It kind of we don't live in Jim Crow anymore. Joe Biden makes the same case.
Reparations is unpopular across the board.
I know.
As a policy matter.
You get Gavin Newsom in California talking about reparations. You're talking about hundreds of billions, maybe over trillions of dollars that nobody has. Doesn't make any sense to me. And again, he's a very nice fella. He's a very gracious man. I've known him for a long time. We had dinner together with a bunch of people maybe a month or two ago. But politically, you're right. He is a man of the left.
Fundamentally, he's a liberal, socialist, Democrat, and more people are becoming familiar with his record.
Thank you, Steve Miller. Appreciate it, buddy. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, folks.